Hey, drywall repairman here. Thanks for visiting my channel. I am a licensed drywaller. I do a lot of drywall repairs. Patches on ceilings, patches on walls, stress cracks. Simple do-it-yourself type drywall repairs you can do. So please watch and learn these videos and please subscribe. Thanks for viewing. Here I am at the store. I need to buy some materials for my drywall project. What type of sheetrock should I buy? What type of mud should I buy? What kind of tools? Basically, when you're going to buy sheetrock, there's several types of sheetrock. You got half inch, you got 12 footers of half inch, 8 footers of half inch. You got 5/8 sheetrock, you got green board. What type of material should I use? Standard house is half inch. Just a 4x8 half inch sheetrock is all you need for most projects. Most homes are built with half inch sheetrock. Garages. Most garages or sheds might have 5/8 sheetrock. This is a fire rated sheetrock. You'll use 5/8 once in a while inside a house. Maybe your project calls for it, but we very rarely use 5/8 unless we're working in garages. Green board. Green board's used in bathrooms, maybe a kitchen vanity wall. Never install green board on a ceiling. I see people do it all the time. You can Google it. Why not to hang green board on the ceilings? All you have to look up. If you don't need a whole sheet of drywall, sometimes you can get lucky. If you're just doing a patch, you can find these 2x2 squares. These work perfect. You can put them in the back of your car, and this is all you really need. So you don't have to buy a whole sheet of drywall. Corner beads. There's several type of corner beads. What should I use? Plastic beads, paper, mud-on beads, metal beads. So many different choices. You want to make sure you, of course, get a square bead or a round bead, what you're trying to do, whatever type of corner you're trying to do. The decisions here, I always see a lot of people buy these mud-on beads. The mud-on beads are not my favorite. I prefer the metal beads. These are always a standard go-to corner beads. A metal bead, it's a stronger bead. You can put it on with nails, or you can use a screw gun. Standard metal beads in most houses are 3/4 bullnose, round bullnose, or the 90-degree square bead. These are the two common square beads that we use in pretty much majority of the projects. I always go to for these metal beads because they last forever. Storage. These little adapters, I don't like them. They're just better to cut at a 45 degree when you install the corner beads. Plastic beads. I like these plastic beads. My second choice would be plastic corner beads. When you lay these plastic beads, you got to make sure they're on the corner just right, because you don't want them to buckle and turn on you. They are flexible, so you want to make sure when you lay them out, they lay out correctly. The good thing with plastic beads, you can use them like in a bathroom or something. They won't rust like the galvanized metal, and you can use a staple gun to install the plastic beads. So that's the benefits of a plastic bead. But these are my go-to ones, the metal corner beads, then the plastics. They sell them in 8-foot or 12-foot pieces. The next one is the dreaded paper bead. A lot of people try to use these mud-on beads. I never use these. There's only a few times you'll actually need these. Maybe if you're doing metal framing house and you have to mud it on, but you got to make sure there's mud on all the paper beads. I never use them. Materials. We got so many different materials and tools and stuff like that. What do I buy? You can spend a small fortune just buying tools. You only need some basic tools. I don't even own all these tools. There's just a few tools that you really need. Sandpapers, 80 grit. You always need 80 grit if you're going to be sanding joint compounds. Either 80 to a 220 grit's perfect. These are basic stuff that all you need. A 10-inch drywall knife, a 6-inch drywall knife, a drywall pan, some fiberglass. Maybe you're just doing a small project. Go ahead and just buy yourself some cheap plastic pan and a plastic knives. They're cheap and easy. They'll last for a long time. A sand pole's good. If you're going to be using joint compound, you're always going to sand in between your coats. Sand poles are always good to have. Sandpaper for the sanding pole, 220, 80, 150 grit. a mud mixer, a hand stomper. Cheap and easy. These tools right here, just your basics you need. All the rest, they're nice to have, but you just get them as you need them. Maybe a sanding block. I like fine or medium grit, coarse grit if you're sanding first coat. All these different types of fiberglass mesh tapes, what to use, so many different types. The extra strength is good if you want to make sure cracks never reappear, but you just need a standard fiberglass mesh tape. Works great. If you're doing angles, maybe a paper tape. Maybe a 12-inch knife. If you plan on doing second coat, I always start with the first coat with a 10-inch knife, second coat, 12-inch knife. Basic tools that you need right here on the floor. Plastic tools if you're just doing a one-time project. Maybe you just need a little bit of mud. Just get one of these joint compounds in a little bucket. They work great, and you just put water on top of it and then cap it, and it'll last for a long time. 2 different types of these little muds in the little buckets, little 1-gallon buckets. These are perfect for small projects. You don't have to buy a lot of materials. I like the green lid. The blue lid, not so much. You have to add water to this stuff. It's hard to mix up. Hot muds. You see these bags of hot muds. Different types of muds. There's so many different types of muds. What should you use? It gets confusing. There's only a couple that I'll actually use. I'm sure other ones are good for certain projects, but when I do repair work, I always have a go-to material list that never failed me. This is my favorite product here, is this 5-minute Westpac. It's a good stuff. This is stuff I use probably daily. It's #1 material. I've never had any problems, no cracks, no callbacks on jobs. Or 20-minute Westpac. Good stuff. Sometimes the stores don't carry the Westpac, so you might have to get the USG. USG 5-minute works great. This stuff, when it sets up though, it sets up strong. It's a strong material. I prefer the Westpac in the purple and the green. But my second choice would be the USG. The 2 hot muds I use mostly, the 5-minute and 20-minute. Let's say I need some joint compound and I need a bucket. So these joint compounds in the buckets are good, but you'll have to add water to mix them. Usually the mud's right to the top of it, so it's hard to add water. If you already own buckets, then just buy you a box of regular all-purpose joint compound. This is a good stuff right here. This stuff I recommend using. These Westpac muds, I like the white dot. I don't like the red dot as much. I've been having issues with the red dot with bubbles and stuff. This mud here, Socrete, this is a new stuff. I think it's a lightweight, so you have to add water to it and mix it up thoroughly. It's not a creamy mud, so you're going to have to add water. That's why it's lightweight. It's missing water. That's the only thing that makes it lightweight, because there's no water in it. So you got to spend more energy. Talking about primers, whenever you do a drywall project and you're done texturing and sanding, you're going to have to use primers. Go-to, Kills 2 is always a go-to item. Latex primer. You have drywall sealer primers. You always got to use a primer sealer before you paint. There are paint and primers in one, but you want to use a drywall sealer, PVA drywall sealer or Kills 2 latex. Just use a Kills 2 latex if you're not sure what to use. Kills 2 latex is a go-to item for stain blocking, sealing, and primers. There are other primers at the store. There's dozens of them. So whatever you use, you just want to make sure you use a drywall sealer before you paint any new drywall project. Even a small nail hole